Hello Pisces, this is a timeless tarot reading for you. It might resonate with you at this moment or this day. Today is the 22nd of January 23, but it could also be that this reading might find you much later. So for this reading I'm using my own tarot cards, and I'm sensing a lot of contradictions, like being pulled inwardly into two extremely opposing energies. I feel a lot of nervousness, anxiety, and deep fear. At the same time, I feel like there is an energetic opening to something very vast that you can't psychologically and emotionally grasp right now, because there's so much fear being triggered within you. And I feel as if you are going to receive something huge. Something that is huge for you. Something that you're not expecting because, as I said, you are full of fear and friction and internal contradictions. Also, these cards are shifting like all the time. Let me just go through them. There's poverty, not a nice thing, something very burdening. If you have ever been poor and really struggled to maintain your physical existence, if you have been in situations where you were probably like really feeling you have to fear that you cannot pay your rent anymore and you could be kicked out or something. I mean, there are so many different situations. I don't mean this perceived kind of poverty, like I mean really justified existential fear. If you've ever been through that, I know by experience that even if we get out of that state, it's like a trauma. It's like it can. I don't know how to express myself. It gets stuck on the physical body very deeply. And even if we are mentally and emotionally not thinking about it anymore, it is still stuck in our bodies, like all kind of trauma. And I feel like maybe you could be going through something like that right now. And it's not only regarding financial or existential lack in form of not knowing how to financially get through life. It is also, this card also has a deeper meaning in this reading because it's next to the order card. And order is actually quite positive card, and I feel as if you might also struggle deeply spiritually. Like I feel as if you feel left out by God or whatever you want to call it, like some higher order, like as if this eye of God is not looking at you, it's just watching you struggling, and it's not helping you no matter how much you pray or how hard you work, or even if you're doing everything right, you just feel left out of this order. I feel that this might be something very painful to you right now. I don't know if you're aware of it. Sometimes it is that we are unaware of these very deep spiritual internal struggles. So we have poverty order, which is actually a good card, and then next to it there's toxic. So there's this, extreme shifts all the time during this reading. And then after toxic comes asleep. This card is quite neutral. Asleep can represent something very unconscious, something like when we're trying to suppress something, we don't want to face something and we're closing our eyes, but it can also stand for rest, reflecting, withdrawing in a positive sense. So this card is quite neutral, and when I looked at it in this constellation, at first it felt rather positive. Then we have another positive card, maturity. After that comes friction, then comes wisdom, and then comes elephant, which is also a neutral card, and it can go into a negative or positive direction. And here I have a feeling it gives me a negative vibe. So, there's this shifting between negative, positive all the time in this reading. And I feel like you are going through this, but it's not, it's not sharp. I don't know what is wrong here right now. It's a little bit annoying. Sorry. I don't see any I feel you still remain to be clear. Whenever this wave of negativity is coming at you, you are capable of remaining focused and clear. You are going through this negative stuff very consciously, is what I'm seeing here. Also, when the positive energies come in, like you are quite not detached. You deeply feel all those energies. You feel both aspects, the negative and the positive. But while you feel them, you remain conscious all the time. Which totally makes sense with the maturity and wisdom card. Because as far as I can see, you seem to be a person that is capable of self-reflection. And by going through these ambivalent energies, these extremely opposing and constantly shifting energies, you are gaining a lot of maturity and wisdom. These energies, I cannot tell you right now how long they will last, how long you will have to go through them. But I can tell you this is happening for your healing. You will be healed if you continue to just watch all these energies and what they do to your emotions. I see that after a while you will be able to, my God, sorry that I'm speaking so slowly. It's an extremely strong energy and I'm feeling super nervous right now. And it's so contradictory because I can feel that there is so much intense fear, like you could even be living in a war zone, like being aware that you could die any moment. If you're not, please don't worry. If that's not the case for you, I'm not trying to tell you that this will soon happen. Please don't get me wrong. It's just like, I feel like you're in a very tough situation. And you are expecting the worst, but I feel as if really the worst is that you're expecting is not going to happen. Like the opposite will happen. There will be something really great. It's already boiling in the background. It's already developing in the background, but you can't see it. As if your biggest dream is about to come true, and in a much bigger way than you could have ever imagined. While you are expecting the worst. I hope I don't sound confusing. To be honest, like when I laid out the cards, I felt really confused. Actually, already before I pulled the cards, I had a very weird feeling. I just can't put it into words perfectly. Sorry, that's a weird reading, but it's not a negative reading, even though it triggers a lot of negative feelings, like it seems so unlogical. Healing will come. Beneath that we have lust and sadness, and those cards are confusing me even more because in that reading I don't get anything romantic, not at all. So just give me some seconds. That's a very weird reading, sorry. It just reflects back to me you are grieving over someone or something that you felt passionate about. It could be a lover, but I don't feel that so strongly here. And in your sadness, just let me show you the sadness card. You know, when I drew this card, I thought that sadness can sometimes be a kind of blessing. You know, that's why I drew this little dwarf who's catching her teardrops. And she doesn't even see the dwarf, but she will soon awaken to the fact that there is a lot of guidance in her sadness. And the sadness, you know, sometimes when we have been through something very traumatic, only after we have deeply physically healed from that trauma, we are capable of crying. When we are still in a shock, often we just can't cry. And so the crying will be, the sadness will be part of the healing. And there are little helpers around you, maybe literally physically, like friends, just people around you, or in the spiritual realm, you have guidance that is supporting you even when you don't see it or feel it right now, but there's something working in the background that is absolutely helping you, and that's for you. And that is preparing something for you that you are not expecting at all. Then we have blessing and white magic, which is just another state of, an even deeper state of healing that goes beyond trauma. It's a deeply spiritual kind of healing. It's a cleansing of the energy system. It's a blessing. Yes, actually I can see a lot of happiness below that as well. And I think I have to stop here. I feel as if I'm not supposed to go any further. I think you just have to go through these tense and very contradictive emotions and energies until they are all being washed out of your system. The only thing I'm allowed to tell you that there is something lingering in the background that is really huge and really great. And this nervousness, this anxiousness, this fear, below that, there's another type of nervousness, like in a positive way. It's excitement, like when you really have a heavy crush on someone and you think maybe this person might be too good for you or too good to be true, and you could never have a date with them, but then you realize that this person is also very interested in you in a very sincere way. And then before you have your first date with this person, you still can't believe that this is truly happening. You feel this excitement. How do you express that in English? Like this, do you say that? Having butterflies in your stomach? I mean, some people think it's a positive feeling, but I think sometimes having this, even if it's a more positive kind of excitement, it could also be very frightening, and that's what I'm also feeling here. Like below, fearing that the worst things will happen to you, while actually in the spiritual realm something completely different is being worked on for you. It will shift into this positive kind of excitement that is just like making you shiver all the time, and oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Oh, this is a very, very weird reading. Whatever it is that's going to happen, I'm not allowed to see that or tell you, so I'll just leave it here. And I hope that somehow it makes sense to someone out there. And yeah, just thank you for watching.